Hello everyone, myself Arpita Patil, Assistant Professor, Department of Zoology from Srimati Indira Gandhi Government First Grade Women's College, Sagara. In today's class, I am going to discuss about class Reptilia. The word Reptilia came from the Latin word reptilis, which means to creep or crawl. Most of the reptilians are creeping animals. Reptilians are the first truly terrestrial animals among the higher group of vertebrates. About 310 million years ago, reptiles were the first vertebrates to make the complete transition to life on land. Let's see about the adaptation to life on land. The first important adaptation is the laying of amniotic eggs. They are called as amniotes. Amniotes are the group of animals which lay amniotic eggs. These eggs possess all four extra embryonic membranes. An egg with protective membranes and a porous shell enclosing a developing embryo. The egg derives its name from the amnion, the thin membrane enclosing a fluid in which embryo floats, and it is a salty fluid called as amniotic fluid in which embryo floats. This amniotic fluid protects the embryo from external as well as internal shocks. Next important membrane is yolk sac, which encloses yolk, a protein-rich food supply for the developing embryo. The allantoid stores nitrogenous waste produced by the developing embryo until the egg hatches. The important membrane is chorion. It is the outermost membrane which encloses all other membranes and developing embryo, which helps in exchange of gases between the external environment and between the egg. This is the structure of amniotic cladoic egg. It is having all the four extra embryonic membranes such as chorion, amnion, allantois, and yolk sac. First outermost membrane is chorion, which covers all the membranes as well as embryo, which helps in the exchange of gases between the egg and external environment. Next membrane is thin membrane is amnion, which encloses a cavity called as amniotic cavity, which is filled with the amniotic fluid, which is a salty fluid in which embryo floats. And this fluid absorbs the shocks, internal as well as external shock, and it will protect the embryo from shocks. Next membrane is allantois, which stores the nitrogenous waste produced by the developing embryo till the egg hatches. Yolk sac, which covers the yolk. Yolk is utilized during the development of the embryo. And whole egg is covered by a shell. Here in this case, the shell is calcareous, or sometimes it may be leathery shell. And such eggs are called as the eggs which are covered by shells, protective shells are called as cladoic eggs. And they are laid out of water. The shell is porous to air, which helps in the exchange of gases, but it is waterproof. Shell is leathery or calcareous in nature. The egg is waterproof, however, it allows exchange of gases between the environment and chorion. Next important character is terrestrial adaptation is waterproof skin. They are having very dry skin which is cornified, and skin is covered with horny scales, scutes and bony plates. Skin is non-glandular in nature. It is completely devoid of any kind of glands. Skin prevents water loss and protects the body. It is one of the terrestrial adaptation in reptiles. Next important character is external structural adaptations for land. These animals are having pentadactylous limbs with claws. Pentadactylous means limbs are having 5 digits or toes, which are having claws. It helps the animal to climb, dig, and move in various types of terrains. Others have toes modified into suction cups, helps in climbing. For example, house lizard and varanus, that is called as monitor lizard. In these animals, they are having suction cups which helps the animal in climbing. In snakes, limbs absent. Snakes use scaly skin and highly developed skeleton and muscular system for the locomotion. Next important character is about respiration. They are having very well developed lungs. They are called as air breathers. Even though some of the reptiles they are aquatic, for example, turtles, crocodiles, alligators, even though they are aquatic, they are lung breathers. It shows that these reptiles are primarily terrestrial and they are secondarily adapted for aquatic mode of life. But they have maintained the basic characters such as lung breathing or air breathing. Next important character is about circulation. In these animals, heart is three-chambered with two auricles and incompletely divided ventricle. It shows incomplete double circulation. It separates there is a separation of incomplete separation of oxygenated blood from the deoxygenated blood. In case of alligators and crocodiles, we find four-chambered heart. The order Crocodilia, which in the animals which belongs to order Crocodilia, they possess four-chambered heart with two auricles and two ventricles. In these animals, RBCs are oval and they are nucleated. Next is about excretion. These animals are having well-developed metanephric kidneys. They are uricotelic organisms. They conserve water by excreting their nitrogenous waste in the form of dry crystal of uric acid. This is one of the terrestrial adaptation in reptiles. Next, about temperature regulation in reptiles. These animals are called as ectothermic animals. Ectothermic means regulation of body temperature depends on external sources such as sunlight or heated rock surfaces. As opposed to this term ectothermic, there is one more term called as endothermic. Ecto means outside, therma means temperature. These animals depend on the external source for their body to generate their body heat. Such animals are called as ectothermic. Endothermic means the group of animals in which the temperature or heat is generated within the body by some metabolic activity. Such animals are called as endothermic. Reptiles are ectothermic animals and they depend always on external source of heat such as sunlight or heated surfaces. These are also poikilothermic or cold-blooded animals. Their body temperature varies with the environmental temperature. Such animals are called as poikilothermic or cold-blooded animals. They will regulate their body temperature by some behavioral mechanism. For example, basking. They will bask in sun to speed up metabolism. Some of the reptiles, they will spread their body parts under the sun. This is called as basking. It increases their body temperature during winter or some whenever they need higher body temperature for their to speed up their metabolic activity. They expose their body temperature under the sun. This behavior is called as basking. During summer season, they will hide in shade to prevent overheating. For example, some of the desert reptilians, they will hide in shade to prevent overheating during daytime. These are some of the behavioral mechanism to regulate the body temperature in case of reptiles. Some other general characters are skull is monocondylic in nature. It means skull is having single occipital condyle. There are two types of skull, monocondylic and dicondylic. If skull is having single condyle, then it is referred as monocondylic. If it has two occipital condyle, then it is called as dicondylic skull. Occipital condyle is nothing but the rounded knob at the base of the skull which articulate with the first vertebra. In case of reptiles, skull is monocondylic because it is having single occipital condyle. In case of reptiles, we find three-chambered cloaca. Cloaca is three-chambered. Cranial nerves are present. They are about 12 pairs, except snakes, which are having 10 pairs. In these animals, sexual dimorphism is present. Fertilization is always internal. The male transfers the sperm inside the female body before the shell is formed. Such type of fertilization is called as internal fertilization. In these animals, Development is direct. There is no larval stage, intermediate larval stage. Such type of development is called as direct development. In case of reptiles, always young ones, they resemble their adult. These are some of the important general characteristic of reptiles. In next class, I am going to discuss about the classification of living orders of reptiles. Thank you.